Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Adithi, and today I'll be talking about pest and bacterial resistance in urban areas. So to begin, the United Nations World Health Organization stated that urban areas are 55% of the world's population and are projected to increase to 68% by 2050. Furthermore, the impact of urbanization on impoverished neighborhoods is particularly significant. Furthermore, the World Bank stated 1 billion people currently live in slums, and this number is expected to increase to 2 billion by the year 2030. These impoverished neighborhoods often lack basic infrastructure and services, such as proper sanitation and waste management. This increases the spread of bacteria and disease, and introduces the question, what are the impacts of urbanization on bacterial and pest resilience? To begin with, the stimulus source, Urban Evolution, How Species Adapt to Survive in Cities, showcases how the evolution of a species in a city depends on several factors. This chart behind me showcases the factors necessary for evolution of mosquitoes specifically. Factors can be social, which is shown in blue, evolutionary, which is shown in red, or ecological, which is shown in green. Impoverished neighborhoods often have greater exposure to pollutants and other environmental disadvantages. Additionally, these impoverished neighborhoods can act as playgrounds for disease-carrying rats, such as disease-carrying pests, such as mosquitoes and rats. Today's presentation will touch upon some of these factors, as well as many others. Some of these will include soil pollution, lack of proper waste disposal systems, and lack of proper drainage and sanitation systems. These all majorly contribute to increasing the resilience of bacteria and disease-carrying pests. To begin with, urban soils are often frequently polluted with heavy metals. This encourages the growth of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and this can also result in the persistence of these antibiotic-resistant bacteria in the environment and heighten the likelihood of exposure and infection. These resistant genes that are carried by this antibiotic-resistant bacteria can also be transmitted to other bacteria. Additionally, another research study showcases that soil contamination with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons can boost the resilience of pathogenic bacteria in urban soils. This can be seen with human diseases such as E. coli and Salmonella. Overall, this will increase the resilience and increase survival of these bacteria in polluted soils, which raise the risk of infection for humans. Additionally, there are several problems with improper garbage and improper waste disposal that results in unregulated waste dumps that become constant food sources in playgrounds for disease-carrying pests. One example is the Pests landfill in Manila, Philippines, which accumulates 1,500 tons of pests daily. Additionally, this is linked to dengue fever and leptospirosis. Research also shows the effect of these waste dumps on pest populations in urban areas. Inadequately disposing of food waste gives a constant food source to these disease-carrying pests, which leads to an increase in rat populations and resilience by providing a constant food supply for them. This may lead to increased transmission of hepatospirosis and leptospirosis. Finally, poor sewage and draining systems serve as a breeding ground for mosquitoes and increase mosquito resilience. Mosquito breeding sites include stormwater drains, wastewater treatment plants, open water storage containers, or just open pools of still water as shown on the slides below. These give mosquitoes an optimal place to survive because they breed in still water. This allows populations of mosquitoes to build resilience as a population and easily spread diseases. For example, in Karachi, Pakistan, it was found that mosquitoes breeding in sewage and wastewater collection systems were the main vectors of dengue fever transmission in the city. Now, how do we solve these problems? To begin with, to solve the issue of contaminated soil leading to increased resilience of bacteria, urban planners can implement green infrastructure practices, such as green roofs, urban forests, vegetative swales, rain gardens, and many more pictured on the slide. This can help reduce the amount of pollutants that enter the soil and prevent increasing resistance and resilience of bacteria. However, these solutions can be expensive, and cities with limited budgets may struggle to fund these projects. Additionally, it requires a lot of maintenance and upkeep. On the other hand, they improve soil quality, enhance biodiversity, and promote sustainable urban development. To address the issue of garbage and waste disposal, of improper garbage and waste disposal, which provide food and shelter for disease-carrying pests, waste management companies can implement better waste disposal methods. These methods include things like proper sorting and segregation of waste, composting, recycling, and waste-to-energy facilities as pictured on the diagram below, to reduce the amount of waste which are actually sent to landfills. However, these solutions can be costly, and waste-to-energy facilities can emit pollutants and greenhouse gases that can harm the environment if it's not managed properly. On the other hand, it will reduce the formation of uncontrolled waste dumps, mitigating the risk of disease outbreaks. And additionally, implementation of new waste disposal methods can create job opportunities. Finally, to address the issue of poor sewage systems, which provide an ideal environment for increased resilience of these pests, local governments can invest in the construction and maintenance of proper sanitation infrastructure. These infrastructure includes things like wastewater treatment plants, efficient drainage systems, installation of larger sewer pipes, construction of water storage facilities, and overall the development of better stormwater management strategies. However, this may require significant funding and ongoing resources, but overall, it would significantly improve public health and safety and reduce the risk of disease transmission, and overall improve the quality of life in urban areas. Several factors in urban cities contribute to the increased resilience of bacteria and disease-carrying pests. However, this resilience can be mitigated through the implementation of several reforms which will prevent the spread of disease in urban cities. Thank you, and this is my website.
All right. Thank you. So we have two questions. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
So in order to reach a conclusion, I handled differing perspectives by first tackling three different problems which urban cities often face. So these three different problems were contaminated soil, waste disposal companies, contaminated soil, waste accumulation, and improper drainage systems or improper sanitation. Then from those three main problems, I tackled a different species which gained resilience from each of those problems. So for contaminated soil, I talked about bacteria. For waste accumulation, I talked about disease-carrying pests like rodents. And for the improper sanitation, I talked about mosquitoes. And then finally, to reach a conclusion, I once again addressed each of these problems and each of these species by implementing a solution that three different perspectives of people could solve. So for example, the urban planners can solve the contaminated soil issue. Local governments can solve the drainage issues, and waste disposal companies can solve the waste accumulation issues.
Okay. And then lastly, explain the level of certainty you have about your conclusion, solution, or recommendation.
So overall, I have a very high level of certainty about my conclusion, solution, and recommendation. And this is pretty much very similar reasons to what I stated in the question below, because I was able to address three different problems addressing three different species, which three different groups of people could address. Additionally, I feel very confident about the research that has allowed me to come up with the solution, because many of these sources often said similar things. Like I found multiple sources that explain how soil contamination, specifically metals, led to increased bacterial resilience. And I just found multiple sources that were saying the same things. So because I was very confident about the information I had and the fact that it addressed so many different perspectives and it took in so many different factors, and the overall problem was specific for these factors, I felt confident in my solution.
All right. Thank you very much.